Oh.
The date, November 2009. Two intrepid explorers watched a Doctor Who story. It will now be revealed to you in flashbacks of newspaper articles on the screen.
Diddly-doo, 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 diddly-doo.
Don't remember that bit in the waters of Mars, which is what we're talking about today! I'm everybody, welcome back to Doctor Who Review. I'm Chris.
I'm not Chris.
And we're going to try and record this before the battery dies.
Diddy-dee-dee-dee-dee.
Hey! So if the shot changes at some point, you know we didn't manage to do it, and we had to pick up shooting after 15 minutes. So, this story went out on the magical evening of the 15th of November 2009. It is co-written by Russell T Davies and Phil Ford, and is the penultimate David Tennant story.
I'm not ready to accept that as fact.
I know, is that why it took us so long to film the Sarah Jane review and this review?
No, it's because you're funny about.
It's because I had work. And you had work, and then you got on well, and then we had some really rubbish evenings where we felt like crap not wanting to record a video, etc, etc, etc. But today, that day is tonight! Country Bears reference for anyone who's interested. So it's Mars, 2059. The first human colony on Mars. Can you remember the name of the base?
Bowie.
Bowie Base 1.
Bowie Base 1, yeah.
Damn right. Is there life on Mars?
Oh, I saw there a little bit of pride in your eyes there.
Damn right. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm so goddamn proud of you. So the Doctor arrives on Mars. I guess just having a bit of a poke around, isn't he? He's not there for anything particular. He just gets out, gets his spacesuit on, goes for a wander.
Just having a bit of a nose.
And he gets held up at gunpoint by a robot called
Gadget.
Gadget.
Sorry.
Roger Rogers from the Star Wars prequel, you dingus.
Oh, God.
And he is...
They sound the same.
And he is led onto a ship, the base, Bowie Base, containing Mikhail, Emily, Roman, Steffi, Andy, bless him, Tarek, Maggie, Mia, Yuri, Ed,
and Steve.
And Adelaide Brooke. And he instantly begins to recognise all these people as the crew of Bowie Base 1, the first ever proper Earth settlers and explorers on Mars.
Yeah.
And then he realises he's got to get out of there because they disappeared and were never found again.
Yeah.
And if he sticks around, he becomes part of the events.
It was on a specific date.
Yeah, that's the thing. He doesn't want to get out of there just because he's like, oh, I don't want to know what's going to happen, or I don't want to get caught in it. He's got to go because, and this is something the show's dealt with a bit in the past and in the modern era. Like the Aztecs, for example, talks about you can't like completely reshape a society from the inside. It's just not right. And this one really goes into the idea of, so there are fixed points in time that cannot be changed.
Yeah. And
a Time Lord knows when those moments are and when they aren't.
Yeah.
And in this instance, this event, as he explains later, again, if you're watching this, we're assuming you've seen the episode. If you haven't, go away and watch it.
Go away.
It's on BritBox and iPlayer and DVD and blah, blah, blah. The reason why this is a fixed point in time is because the mysterious disappearance of all the crew, namely Adelaide Brooke, the captain, played brilliantly by Lindsay Duncan, inspires her granddaughter to study in the field of space exploration.
Yeah.
Which leads to the first successful further missions out into space, because her granddaughter does it out of that unanswered question of whatever happened to my grandmother.
Yeah, well, because it was said that Adelaide set off, what was it called? Protocol, whatever, and nobody knows why.
Yeah, they blew up the base, essentially.
Yeah, and speculation is did she go mad? I'm assuming. And it feels like she's kind of going, no, I'm going to prove what happened, and I'm going to. And
it's not necessarily. It's not necessarily that she's like, I'm going to go out and do the same. It's that I'm going to get out there and I'm going to
find out what happened.
Part of her's always wanting to find out what happened, and the other part of her just basically becomes the greatest explorer ever.
Yeah. Which
leads to humanity developing space travel and communication elsewhere to a degree they hadn't before.
Mm-hmm.
So the mysterious death of Adelaide and her crew
is
pivotal to the development of humanity's space exploration.
Yeah.
That leads to all the colonies and worlds and starships and everything and arcs and whatnot we've seen since it previously in the show.
Yeah.
That happened after this. It's all because of this. So he has to get the hell out of there, and I think that is played so well. It's so creepy and so intimidating because you can see that as things start to get worse, he wants to stay because he's compelled.
Well, it's his instinct, isn't it? To help.
What he wants to be part of the solution. He doesn't want people to die, and there's an incredible scene later where he sort of outright tells her what he knows when he's in the airlock.
Well, she forces him, doesn't she?
She's like, "Oh yeah, well I'll like lower the pressure in there and have you killed in a second unless you tell me." And he's like, "You won't do that." She's like, "Why?" And he says, "Because you're Adelaide Brooke." Like, having met her, he knows what kind of person she is, and he knows that whatever happened that day, she made the right decision.
Yeah.
Because we do, of course, learn what happened. So, one filter in the organic chamber, the greenhouse, where they're growing plant life, and they're experimenting with it a bit more to the point where they're confident they'll be able to make a roast by Christmas, which is cute as hell.
Yeah.
Because they've been out there for a few years now, and they're meant to be out there for a couple more at least.
Excuse me.
One filter breaks, and there isn't a spare one of that piece.
Like the one that they got given doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Which is really
It's
funny.
it's the IKEA flat pack nightmare of, God damn it, this is the wrong peg hole. Why? And Andy, one of the workers, is just like, oh bloody hell, and he logs it in the thing.
Yeah.
But
Video log.
but it's one filter of thousands.
Yeah.
So no one thinks anything of it. The water source they're tapping into from a giant ice supply beneath the surface of Mars has a bacteria in it. That bacteria is a sentient virus.
Ugh. And it's called COVID.
And a version of it manages to get through into the supply from one point of exit, because of that one missing filtration part.
Do that.
They were one filter part away from having completely purified water. And of course, what was occurring probably wouldn't have killed them if it weren't for the fact that the thing in it wasn't just some germs, it was a living virus.
Yeah.
That then manipulates the water of their bodies and creates more and turns them into these horrible zombified husks.
Oh, that's creepy.
With cracked lips and black channels where all the moisture's been driven out, and it just...
Creepy
the mouths look
eyes.
like mosaics that have been smashed
Oh,
up. And
creepy.
yeah, the jet white irises and the tiny pupils. They just look terrifying.
They do.
They're referred to as the Flood, and we learn that they were potentially frozen in the ice by Mars's prior occupants. That this disease was frozen to stop it from spreading.
Yeah.
So the Ice Warriors at some point were affected by this infection and detained it. Now, he doesn't name them, but he references them. And it's okay, shout out to the Ice Warriors. Remember them from
Shout out to the Ice
remember
Warriors.
them from Trouton's days and the Paladin stuff. Remember
Just
them?
knock
They were fun,
everything
weren't they?
over, babe. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
So,
Just sit your ass on my needle. That's fine.
God.
Move your buttocks.
what did you like about the Flood? Or is that the wrong choice of words?
The Flood.
The Flood.
Oh,
the
sorry,
infected. The Flood.
Terrifying.
Mm.
Because that's something that could genuinely happen in real life.
Well, maybe not the sentient virus, but certainly the
You never
spread of
know.
infection.
Because that is an alien microorganism. And
Oh, you're talking about off-world could happen,
Yeah,
potentially.
yeah.
Right, got you. I was like, I'm not sure not washing your hands is going to lead to you turning into a zombie. Well, then again.
you never friggin' know these
Yeah.
days. You never friggin'
Remember
know.
saying happy birthday twice? Do you remember Charlie Brooker's thingy last year? Happy birthday twice. Just walked away from the tap.
don't sing happy birthday when you have quite a distance to go with a cake. I realised that on Sunday.
Okay, we're getting off a complete tangent here that's not going to make any sense to anyone.
Birthdays.
Anyway, sentient viruses. That's
so
sensible.
it's scary because it could genuinely happen. You know, exploration on Mars is picking up because we've got a. It's not a drone, is it? The little
gadget.
Yeah, on Mars that's, you know, taking pictures and all that stuff, taking samples. One day there could be a colony on Mars. And what if something like this happened? And what if we didn't have the Doctor there to stop it? I mean, to be fair, it wouldn't have happened anyway because of what happens in the story, but...
Yeah, if the Doctor hadn't been there, Adelaide still would have blown the place sky high. Although, it's entirely possible that she did it because he told her. It's one of those where it's like, he may always have ended up there.
Yeah.
But he changes one specific thing of how things are meant to go.
Yeah, but you just don't know.
You also have the added element of peril when Maggie, played by Sharon Duncan Brewster, she gets infected, but she's sort of like partially still herself.
Yeah,
because it's not her, but it's like the flood is kind of using her cognition and understanding of communicating with the crew.
Yeah.
To learn. Like, the virus with the other two has just turned them into zombies that spray water and
the way they transform it's like, that's really
disturbing. When everyone's, like, just shaking under the drip and everything. But with her, it's almost like the virus holds back just enough in her system that it can communicate.
Yeah.
Because when she's made aware of Earth and how much water there is... and it becomes apparent when everything starts to go to hell later that their plan is to get into the ship.
Yeah.
And
go with them.
Go with them. And
when they kind of want them to escape.
Yeah.
So then they take them back.
And they drive them to the rocket and then they infect the pilot.
Yeah.
But of course he sees that as a nope. So he has the ship self-destruct.
Yeah.
And it's
that
entire sequence is horrifying, isn't it? Where he's walking away and he can hear them in his comms. The Doctor's going back to Adelaide's let him slip and go to the TARDIS. And he can hear on the comms them all dying and being infected.
I would say it's not an easy one to watch.
It's just dark.
It's quite hard to watch because obviously all these people are dying and it's stressful. But then also, are we talking about the end? No.
Yeah, spoilers ahoy! Like, because this is you know, if you're watching this and you've not seen it, you're insane.
The Doctor is let out of the airlock, and he's slowly making his way back to the TARDIS. You all just saw me take a picture of Dolly. Sorry. And he decides to go back.
He snaps, doesn't he? He briefly gets caught in the rocket explosion and stuff, and the debris, and
he does a leap in front of the flames.
And it means he just has enough time to kind of like hear everything going horribly wrong. And there is at least 3 crew members still alive, including Adelaide, who at this point has resigned to the fact that she's going to do what she was told by him she apparently did, which is like trigger the final phase and blow up the base. And he also, you know, he learns her motivation. The reason she wanted to go out into the stars. It was during the Dalek invasion of Earth in 2009.
That's
in Journey's
crazy.
End.
That's so crazy.
Like, he learns that during that, a Dalek saw her through the skylight of the attic that she was hiding in at her home, where she lost both of her parents that day. The Dalek sees her, and it leaves her alone.
Yeah.
And it's this weird thing of, like, that kind of made her... She said she wanted to follow it. Like, she wanted to follow it out into the stars and learn more.
Yeah.
So that Dalek and that invasion is what leads her to wanting to do this. And the Doctor hypothesises the reason it didn't kill her is because somewhere deep down... Like, Daleks they've been doing time travel every now and again when they're able to get hold of it. So, you know, they're time sensitive to a degree. And he hypothesises that even the Dalek could sense that she was a fixed point in time who should not be interfered with.
Yeah.
So it's a good job they managed to get the Earth back to where it belonged, didn't it? Oh dear. So yeah, she he can hear all that going on, and then he changes his mind. And he comes back, and with the help of the three of those that remain, trying to fix everything up, and the remote control gadget. He manages to keep the protocol going, but get the TARDIS to them in time for them to get out of there.
But the problem is, he's gone a bit loopy.
Well, they set it up with this montage, don't they, of him remembering every time that he acknowledges he's the last Time Lord. Like, there used to be my people used to be around to keep this stuff in check, but they're all gone.
So what's stopping me?
It's like, why the hell? Why? Like, what? The laws of time are mine, and they will obey me. He says.
It's like,
okay, he's saving the day, and it's this.
This is what happens when he doesn't have a companion.
Murray Gold's score. Yeah, they've really hammered that in with this Doctor throughout his entire run, and it's so true.
Yeah,
he needs someone with him. He needs a friend, because he's not a nice man.
No,
he's a good man, but he's not a nice man.
There's a line that he tends to cross if somebody isn't there to stop him.
Yeah, to keep an eye on him.
Yeah,
and it's done through Murray Gold's score and Lindsay Duncan's expressions and performance in the triumphant moments where he's saving them all, that sells you that this is not necessarily a win. Like, there's all the bombast of like, yeah, it's gonna happen, yeah, it's save the day. But there's just something in the score and in the direction and all the shots of her that suggest that, no, this is wrong.
You know it's wrong.
Especially because he's established to her and really drilled it into her, like, how much...
you can't change.
Yeah, like,
things.
this event cannot change. She calls him out on it. She challenges him on it earlier on, and he really hammers it in that, like, no, this is one of those things that just cannot...
Yeah.
Like, if this doesn't happen, your granddaughter's story doesn't happen. Which stunts the development of our galaxy, of this galaxy... dramatically. Dramatically and drastically.
I love that word.
So they get to Earth.
Now.
And he's like so chuffed with himself. Yeah. Like, turns the lights on in a gaff with the screwdriver to show off.
Opens a door.
The two crew that are left are just freaked out by him. Like, one of them, she legs it, and the other one
because
after her.
They've spent God knows how long on another planet.
Yeah.
God knows how long it took to get there.
Yeah.
And they are immediately home.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's got to screw you up on it.
Yeah.
When you have no idea what's just happened, you were on the brink of death. You don't have any time to process anything.
And suddenly you're on planet Earth, seconds later.
All of your friends have died.
And Adelaide orders Yuri to follow Mia and look after her. And he's like, yes, Captain. And he goes. And then Adelaide challenges the Doctor, and it's just sort of like, who the hell do you think you are? And he's like, I'm in charge. Like, I'm the Time Lord.
He thinks himself like a god.
And that's the Time Lord victorious is the description he comes up with, which is a callback to the whole thing of like, I'm a Time Lord, the last of the Time Lords, I win. And all that sort of sarky kind of little thing he said before is the 9th and the 10th, you know what I mean? Lucky me. And all this stuff. It's like, what does that make me? And in this he says, like, I always thought it made me, you know, alone, but I'm the winner. Like, I'm the winner. I'm still here. You're like, okay.
Oh, you're crazy.
Because we've never in the show really experimented in the TV show with the notion of what happens if the Time Lords aren't around. Because the Doctor in the modern era has always been careful still. And in the past era, the classic era, we almost see it a few times when, like, someone's eroding the Time Lord society from the inside, or there's corruption going on, and you get the sense that things are going to go horribly wrong once this sets in. We've never seen it. And we still don't really see it here. Because as Adelaide points out, the Time Lord Victorious is wrong. She gets into her gaff.
Her gaff?
Her gaff. She scrambles into a gaff.
Up the apples of bed.
And she commits suicide. And we see, like, it hits the Doctor like a ton of bricks.
Mm-hmm.
He just stops in his tracks. And throughout the story, there's been this narrative device of seeing how history went down and how he learned about all this stuff and whatnot through the visage of, like, online news articles. And then they've changed subtly when events have changed. And here we see that by taking her own life, Adelaide maintains the mystery of the events. Because the base is blown up, and she is found in her house, which means that people are always still looking for answers. I imagine Yuri and Mia probably went off the grid. They were like, "Nope, we are not getting involved in this." But like, there's enough of a massive.
Well, they do an interview, don't they?
That's it. Yeah, they talk about the tragedy and what occurred.
That she saved them all.
Yeah. But then, of course, there's the mystery thing of like, well, then how the hell did she get here? So there's still enough of a disconnect of answers that her granddaughter still becomes a space explorer.
Yeah.
Different circumstances, but it happens. So time is going to sort of heal itself. Like, it's not been changed too much, except at the central point at ground zero.
Yeah.
It's been altered, but it's had the same effect. Which calls into question the idea of would it always have corrected itself in some way? Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
But either way, the Doctor suddenly is hit by how much of a cock up he's just made.
Yeah.
Because someone just killed themselves because of him.
Because of him, yeah.
And
God, this show's for kids.
yeah. And then he sees a vision of Ood Sigma in the snow.
Yeah, singing.
And we hear the song. What else do we hear?
Oh, Doctor, what are you doing?
No. Cloister Bell.
The cloister bell freaks me out, that thing.
We hear the cloister bell ringing out pretty bloody loudly.
The cloister's ringing out for Judgment Day.
Because we also get the prophecy sort of teased in this as well. There's a bit where he says that like I know I'm going to die, but I can't die because that time hasn't come yet. Do you remember he says like I know I can get away with this because I know that someone's going to kill me. He will knock 4 times, and I think I know what that. We should say he will knock 4 times, and I think I know what that means, and it's not here, and it's not today.
And then you hear something knocking, and it's like no.
3's all you're getting, yeah. But it's like I love how they've not taken time to have him discuss it with anyone, but they tease the idea that he's like, yeah, I think you lot out there who've been watching this in the year 2009 who think you might have put it together who it is. I've had that idea too. But it's not this.
He looked into camera and said that. It was really
he says like, hello, it's me, David Tennant. We've got another 2 episodes after this, so don't worry about it. We're going to be fine.
I've got to save these guys. Hold on a second.
But you know what I mean? It's like even the Doctor's acknowledging that I think I know what that means and it isn't this, which means I don't die today. So we are going to get you out of here because I can. I'm alive. It's going to happen.
It's gonna happen.
And then, of course, he defiantly is like, no, and sets off at the end. I love this story.
It's great.
It's horrible.
It's horrid.
It's really horrid. It's great creatures. All subtle as well, just one makeup look. And it's all about the performances and the shots.
Good on those actors. That must have been horrible to wear.
The big old corridors with Boy Base 1.
All the same.
Gadget.
All the same one.
The water dribbling in through the sets, the videos of everyone at home. It's great. It is such a good story, and I wish we could talk about it more, but the battery is about to die. So, thoughts down below. What do you think of The Waters of Mars? Is it the best 10th Doctor story? And why is the answer actually no? Because it's still midnight. I'm standing by that. Anyway, are you ready for the end?
No. Is there a short and quick answer? No. Good night, everybody.
We'll see you soon for the end of time. Ooh.